to Gege's Beauty Compound. Thank you for joining me for another fun-filled episode. If this is your first time with us, welcome. Come on in, take a seat, relax, grab yourself, something to drink, whatever you like. Welcome. So on today's episode, we are going to be discussing how I was able to be involved in TV shows and movies and doing background work. Before we get started, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. You done it? Okay, great. So, where do we get started? I have been doing background or extra work, as some people may say, for since I was a teenager. So I want to say I've been in the TV and film industry doing that type of background work for, it's been over like 20 something years, I would say. Now, I have spent a lot of time in the arts. I am an artist. Besides doing skincare for you guys, I've, been a professional dancer. And when I say professional, I'm talking about checks, money, productions. I've been doing that for a very long time. African dance instructor, liturgical dance instructor, etc., etc. I've also done professional singing and modeling and all that good stuff. So, theater and movies and television is just another extension of what I've been doing for a very long time. Why did I get in the TV and film industry? I love just being in film. I think it is a very cool industry. When you are on set, you get to see the background of how these fantasy worlds are created. You get to meet some cool people. You get to kind of, practice, your art of acting and, just making it a very natural, organic experience when you're on set. So that's, why I've done it and why I love it. But just to kind of, today I just kind of also want to go over, like a few questions that you may have about the industry, how to get in that, sector of the industry, and all that good stuff. So again, been doing television episodes and background work for movies for a very, very, very long time. It's something that I love. I don't do it full time, but when I am able to do it, it is a very exhilarating, exciting experience for me. So I just want to kind of go from start to finish of some things that you may expect and how you can get started too. One thing you do want to know about getting involved in an agency for just strictly background work. If you happen to Google, for agencies in your area, if they are asking for pay, that is a huge red flag. That is a huge indicator that it is not a legit company. Agencies who do or hire for on the production end for major motion pictures and film studios, they do not ask you for money to get involved in their projects, because it's just like any other job, just like a 9 to 5 or what have you. They're going to ask you to be involved once you sign up with a particular agency, and then you get paid for doing the work. It's not the other way around. So, rule number 1, if they are asking you to pay them to be a part of their TV shows, movies, modeling, etc., most likely it's a scam company or just not a reputable company that you want to work with. So I hope that helps. For those who want to get involved, so you can always look online for background work or agencies in your area. There are plenty of them in every major city. If you know or you have friends, another way that you can get into, that type of work is if you have friends who are in theater, who are, professionally acting or things of that nature. You can also ask them, hey, are you with an agency? I'm interested in myself or my child getting involved in, that type of work. Do you know a reputable agency that I can get involved with? Now, the reason that I'm not mentioning the agency that I'm with, I'm doing that on purpose because they have a strict policy of not mentioning any productions that you are currently either have been involved in, working on, or that have not officially come out yet into the public's eye. So sometimes when you are on set, they may have a mock name for a TV show or movie to protect it, to protect the integrity of the show, and also so that it is not leaked to the public prior to it coming out. If you happen to drive by, a production that's in place, you may notice a name. Like, I'm just going to use an example. This is not a job that I've actually worked, but this is just an example. So let's just say they're coming out with another Spider-Man movie, but they haven't released that information to the public yet. The signs for the production may say a name like Webman, or insect eater, just something that may be close, or similar to the name, but not exactly. Or it can be something that doesn't have anything to do with the production at all, just to kind of, throw the public off. So unless you happen to see particular types of costumes that can kind of, give you a hint, then you would know, oh, they're filming another blah, blah, blah movie. But most likely just driving by, unless like the main actors or actresses are filming, you probably won't know what movie or TV show it's for. I have done extra work for pilots and TV shows that actually never came out. So some like reality shows, shows before they actually reach your television set, they do like a pilot. And with the pilot, they'll have like an audience, a small audience, viewers kind of watch it and basically give their opinions about the actors, how well they mesh together, if you can see this being a show, how did you like it? So they do have, those types of groups that kind of are like testers to see if this show would be a hit for that particular network. If the pilot, once it gets, to the executives, if they say they're not feeling it, they're not feeling the chemistry of the actors, or they don't think that it's going to make them money, then they can pull that pilot, and you guys as the public will never see it. It will never see the light of day. So I have experienced that too. Another thing with COVID and the pandemic and everything, they do have a lot of safety precautions now for TV and movie sets, where they will make sure that we actually get COVID tested. So with the COVID testing, the agency will pay, for you to get that COVID testing. It's not something that you actually come out of pocket for, and you go to a healthcare center or hospital, or your doctor, what have you, and use your own insurance. They do pay you for that. So you go at the allotted time that they give you, you go get your testing, they swab your nose, send it to the lab, or they do it on site. And within like a few hours, because now they do rapid testing, within a few hours or so, then they send your results to the production company and the agency, of course, that you work with, and also to you. If you agree to them sending you the information via email, they'll send it to you, and you're like, okay, I see it's negative. And then from there, now that they've confirmed that your COVID test came back negative, they will go ahead and send you the actual filming date and time for the project that you agreed to be a part of. Let's see. You may want to know how you get selected. Like once you're signed with a particular agency, how you're selected. So, with it being us in a technological age, a lot of companies, of course, and agencies use a database. So basically, when you sign up, they may do like a huge, what's called a cattle call, where they may post online somewhere, social media or radio stations or what have you, that they're doing a casting call for background actors and actresses, to sign up with an agency. So you go to the cattle call, you sign the paperwork, they take your headshot, and then your first headshot is typically like the main photo that they may use in your profile on the website. Then from there, you want to upload your own headshots to the database. What's most important about this stage in the process is there are so many different shows and movies that film like in a year or even monthly. And if your photo does not look like how you look now, if your photo looks outdated, and if your photo doesn't make you look presentable or approachable, then that can hurt your chances of actually being called to be a part of these productions. So I definitely would recommend, if you know a professional photographer, get headshots. You absolutely, to be in this industry, you want to have professional headshots. I know back in the 90s, a lot of people did like black and white headshots. Well, currently from my experience, the color ones are better because they can kind of better see your features, how you wear your makeup, how you wear your hair. It's just, a better look for you, for them to really see what you look like. So always put your best foot forward. When you take those photos, you're going to take a headshot, which is just like, of course, showing your head, neck, décolleté area. They're also going to ask you to upload a full shot, because if the role or the background is calling for maybe a smaller framed background people, just depending on what kind of movie it is, they want to see if you would fit into that background perfectly. The role may be okay with you being curvier, or may ask for a curvier, men and women. That's fine too. Then they may want to see, okay, she fits in the, vision of what we have for this particular scene or movie that we want her to be a part of. So it's always best to have a headshot. Then they may have you do like a head to torso shot, and then of course your full shot. But in all of your photos, make sure that you put your best foot forward. You want to have photos where, if you're of course speaking from a woman's perspective, have your makeup done, but not to the point where it's so extreme that they can't really see what you look like. Like, you do want to have one, not necessarily natural, where it looks like you're not wearing any makeup, but just natural enough where they can see exactly what you look like. So a few steps above, what your natural face would be. Nothing too outlandish. You don't want to have on like Las Vegas showgirl type of feather boas and extremely long lashes and that type of thing. You just want to look very nice and presentable, so that they can have the vision of, if they need to dress you up or down, they can have that visual just by looking at your headshots, in the database. Depending on the agency, the more you accept work from them, the more they will call you and ask you if you're available. So in my case, I currently reside in Georgia, on the outskirts of Atlanta, and they film a lot here. I mean, they film so much here. So I can be asked on a weekly basis if I'm available to film, but I also have a regular 9 to 5, so I can't always, jump and do a production. So I kind of plan it around if I have a lighter workload that week, or where I don't have any major meetings or that type of thing. So I just, plan it accordingly, because, you just want to use wisdom. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot where you're always filming, but you're not, doing what your main source of income is, because you don't want to do that. You always want to use wisdom. So typically, you can spread it out. And it doesn't hurt if you can't do it. You can always, reply to the text, because they send out like text messages and emails. So if you're away from your computer or what have you, or you don't have on email notifications, you have your text notifications, where if it comes up and if you're not able to do it, you just respond no, and it's no harm, no foul. But if you press yes that you are available, then you do have to be available for the COVID test and the date and the production. So the worst thing you want to do is tell your agency that you are available when the worst thing you can do is tell your agency that you are available when in all actuality you aren't. That is really bad, because it makes you look very unprofessional, and they most likely will not call you for gigs if you don't show up when you say that you're available. So if you absolutely know that you are not available, then I would highly advise you to just tell them no, in the notifications you're not available. But if you are available, go for it. But plan accordingly. When you tell them you're available, you have to be available for, again, the COVID testing, which typically the COVID testing is quick, but you have to plan as far as your commute is concerned, because you're going to have to drive to wherever the testing is. It may be a possible line that you have to stand in, taking the test, and then, of course, coming back home. So if you happen to work a regular job and you need to go like really early in the morning, I would suggest doing that, so you're not, late for your regular job or what have you. So that's just another thing that you can do. Other things that you want to be mindful of, whether you're doing a COVID testing, whether you are in the makeup chair or you're in the wardrobe room, as soon as you step on the lot, as soon as you drive on the lot, put your professional hat on. What do I mean by that? You have to make sure that you are representing yourself to the highest form, because you are being watched. From the time that you drive on that lot, whether it's security or whomever it may be, you never want to put a bad taste in production's mouth, that you were loud, that you were behaving like a diva, that you were being obnoxious, that you were talking too much. You want to just, be chill, relax, have fun, but don't have so much fun that you become a nuisance or disrupting production. As soon as you're on the lot, you're clocked in. It's time to work. And they take it very seriously. They will ask you to leave, and they will terminate your contract with your agency if you don't follow etiquette and rules. Speaking of etiquette, let's talk a little bit more about that. When you're typically like once you drive on set, there is a person that'll check you in to make sure that you've arrived. And then you may sign in, or you may just walk up and show your ID, say, hey, this is me, I've arrived. And they, will sign you in or check you off or what have you. They may have you sign additional paperwork, because each production is different. So you may have to sign like another form, just to fill out with your name and address and everything, just to account for you being there. Waivers, meaning that you're not filming or taking, pictures while you're on set. Those types of things may be in the form that they have you to fill out. And also to clock your hours. Some productions, they just still may use like an old school manual system where they still have you to literally sign, paperwork of your start and end time, and just double checking the hours that you worked. Good thing is, if you happen to work overtime, they do add that to your timesheet as well. So you just, on your personal dashboard in the agency system, you can check that to make sure that you got paid if you happen to work over the hours that you were originally asked to work. A typical day on set, it depends. Like, if you're doing background work, you may be asked to do or to film one day. You may be asked to do 2 days. They may ask you to come back to film another day. So the good thing is, if you do a great job on set and they like your work and they like your professionalism, they like your energy and your spirit and all that great stuff, they may ask you to come back the next day. And it's at your discretion. If you can, of course, you say yes. If you can't, you just tell them you can't. But the typical work day on set is just like a regular 9 to 5. It's typically like 8 hours and sometimes 10 or 11. They can go over. They definitely can go over because that's just the nature of it. Like, you just never know if they need to refilm a scene repeatedly. They may, need to get as many shots in as possible while the sun is still up. There may have been something that messed up the continuity in a scene where they have to keep refilming it. So you just have to be prepared that you're going to be filming and possibly on your feet for 8 hours or more. Sometimes 10. I have had an experience where I was scheduled to film for 8 hours and I ended up being there for 10. But when you love what you're doing, like, you don't care that you're filming for 8 hours. You don't care that you're there for 10 because it's fun and it's exciting. So you're not even bothered by that. Another thing about etiquette on set. If you are tired, you never want to say it. You never want to show it. Because remember, you are background. It's not about you. It's really not. It's about the main actors and the storyline. You are just being used as a filler to make that storyline look even more realistic. And even if you are asked by your agency to do a more prominent background role where you may have a speaking part or just more in the camera angle of, or in a scene with the actual main characters, keep your energy up. If you are tired, make sure that day you take your energy drink, or if you have like a little energy powders. I tend to have like a little energy pixie stick with me that I ordered from a friend of mine, but I take that, after I eat something, I take that little energy powder and I'm good to go. You never want to look tired, worn out, like you're angry. You never want to give off that energy because they will cut you out of a scene if your energy is not right and you're looking sluggish and irritated. Another thing is, if the weather happens to change in a scene, like if it starts raining or something like that, most productions are mindful to stop filming for a little bit if it starts raining where the rain is interrupting production. But in those cases, still make sure you keep your professionalism. You don't want to scream and act like you've never seen rain before, that type of thing. You may be asked to stand there for a few more moments if it's just a light drizzle, but if it starts storming, typically productions will stop, filming for that moment and kind of wait the rain out for maybe an hour or so. So you don't have to worry about that type of thing. I would also say, excuse me, I will also say follow the guidelines of what the production asks you to dress as. So if it's a summer scene, you want to make sure you are dressed in summer apparel, but nothing too bright. You don't want to wear whites, reds, anything too like neon colors. Those colors do not show very well on film, and they will actually take away from the main characters. So because you are background, again, I'm only speaking about background, not as if you were a main character. For background, you don't want to stand out so much that you take away from the scene, the storyline, or the main actors. So no bright colors, no neon colors, no whites, no reds, no yellows, nothing bright. Just neutral colors or pastels is typically acceptable when you are filming. Oh, another thing, I'm going to backtrack for just a second. Another thing you want to be aware of with filming is when what they call the talent. The talent are basically the actors and actresses that are, part of the movie or TV show. You don't ever look starstruck. Like, no matter how much you may love that person's work, they may be your favorite TV personality, they may be your favorite person that you've watched on movies forever, or whatever the case may be. I highly, 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 and strongly want to share. Don't act surprised. Don't act shocked. Don't act unseemly on set when you happen to see a celebrity. Stay professional at all times. Pretend like, of course you can nod or say hello if they speak to you or if they're walking by or that type of thing. But don't do too much talking to them. Don't touch them. Like, just act normal. Just act regular. Just like you're, on at work. Just relax. They heavily frown upon that. And the celebrities, they do have security as well. And production, when they're filming, they also act as security for the celebrities. So you never want to make them uncomfortable. And you don't want to try to force yourself in their space, because you can get kicked off. They have no problem kicking you off set if you make the talent feel uncomfortable. So just relax, have fun, smile, keep your energy up, and, say hello. But don't be surprised. Like, some celebrities, they don't really speak to the background actors and actresses, and don't take it personally. Sometimes they're just in character and they're focusing on the job. Sometimes they just may not feel like it, but never take that personally. If you say hello, keep moving about your day and focusing on your work, and continue to have fun. Don't let that get you down. Let me see. Is there anything else about being on set? Oh yeah, make sure you're not chewing gum. Make sure that you are not smoking unless it is an actual smoke break. Doing things to draw attention to yourself while you're filming, or even while you have downtime, they pay attention to that. They definitely pay attention to that. So don't bring unnecessary attention to yourself, thinking that you are making yourself stand out. It actually does the adverse effect. Just relax, have fun. Well, let me think if there's anything else I want to share with you guys. Oh yes, the pay depends on, as far as like how much you get paid, it depends on the production. Some productions pay more than others, but if you're just doing it for fun and you don't mind, then it's okay. If you're just, doing it for fun or just trying to get your name out there, then it's okay if you choose to do a lower paid production. They tend to tell you up front, like when they send out the notifications, how much that is going to be per hour. So you have the right, if you think it's too low or whatever, you have the right to just tell them no. Of course, you never say to your agency, that's not enough money. No, you don't get into trying to haggle the pay for it. No, you just politely click no if you don't want to do it, and yes if you do. Some, like I said, some productions do pay more, so that's always a good thing. And if you happen to, and there are cases where you may come in being paid one thing, but they may like your look, or they may like your work, how you're handling yourself on set so much, sometimes they even upgrade you to a speaking role, or sometimes they upgrade you to a more prominent background role where you know you're going to be seen in this film or in this show. So that's always a good thing. So don't immediately discount the lower paid work, because sometimes it does lead to higher paid work, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I think that's about it. Of course, if you guys have any questions, you can always leave a comment in the comment section. I love to read you guys' comments. And, you know, I always love for you to share my videos. That's always a great thing. And I thank you guys for joining me again for another episode of Gege's Beauty Compound. And I thank you. And if you have anything else you would like me to answer about my experiences on set, just, like I said, drop a comment. And don't forget to like, share, and ding that notification button. Thank you guys again, and bye-bye.